Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Harry Potter Wizards Unite. Today we are doing an advanced look at the registry. The reason I say this is advanced is the very first part of the dealing with the registry was figuring out what the silhouettes were and what you can actually acquire. The second part is now looking at the more advanced part is how do you acquire these and why are some of them different? What are the different grades in rarity within the rarities? So we're going to be looking at which ones within this list of, let's say the Magical creatures is more frequent but still has the same rarity or threat level. So severes, we know that now that some severes are easier to find than other severes, and some moderates the same way. So we're going to be looking at a little bit more in-depth detail to that, looking at how any of them you can acquire through only wizarding challenges. So we're going to be going through that list, and hopefully that will provide a pretty comprehensive guide of how to fill your registry in the most efficient way, because otherwise you can find yourself just completing the wild section. So here we see the hippogriff, the baby unicorn and the dragon egg, and for a long time you might not come across a fire ends, but a puffskein you can definitely be working on because this is a wizarding challenge. We're going to be looking at every single page in detail in that way. So let's get into it. First of all, I just want to mention that the pages follow a similar suit. Bar Care of Magical Creatures, you usually have the easiest page first. Those are the ones that you probably prestiged first. So as I go along, these are all in brown now, and you will have all probably, if you've been playing for a fair bit, will have filled those and will be on your way to getting silver and maybe even gold if you've been grinding loads, as I'm pretty close in Borgin and Burks. So each family in the registry has that pattern of the easiest pages on the first bar, obviously Care of Magical Creatures. The second hardest is in the second page of that, and the final one is usually the hardest to complete. That means that we're going to be seeing a lot of these prestige, probably to gold, way before you're ever getting anywhere near it on these ones. So let's break down this list to make sure that you get along on each of those as quickly as possible. Let's start with Dark Arts. So we have Borgin and Burks. These are all available through encountering mediums, lows. So these are all available in the wild, and that is the same for every single first page. All of these are, you can encounter them in the wild and fill your registry purely by encountering types in the wild. These are your common types, and sometimes you will see, for example, the self-playing harp is a high threat level, so that's the yellow beam coming out of it, and they'll be slightly rarer but still pretty common. And an example of what I was saying before about the different rarities within them, so for let's use that as an example. The self-playing harp is a high, but it's a very frequent high threat to find in relation to the other yellow, which is a baby mandrake, which you tend to see less of. And this is the same for, let's say, Magizoology, where we have, I believe, alchemy eggs is something that you'll see quite frequently. Less frequently so is the demiguise, which is high. So they're both the same threat level, but you're more likely to encounter alchemy eggs than you are to encounter a demiguise. Now, looking at the way these pages work, they do follow a similar suit as well in terms of how you acquire each of the items. So if you look at the second page first of Knockturn Alley, we can see that the Thestral, the Hag, the Ministry Executioner, and Portrait of Bellatrix the Restrained. You can see I filled all those, and they're all pretty easy. Thestral, again, being that common high type in this combination of encounters. Now, Knockturn Alley sign is only encounterable from wizard challenges, and you can tell all these individuals of what I'm talking about. Now, I went out and actually did the research, but you can tell just by when you click onto it. So I actually went out and have been grinding certain rune stones, and then so these are my Dark Arts ones, so it's good kind of one to look at. And once I get to the end of it, seeing which items that I get. So here we see the magic is might statue, which is on the 3rd page, is the only one that you can acquire through wizarding challenges. More commonly in these families, you will see them taking the 3 of them being accountable for in wizard challenges. So in this case, it's Knockturn Alley sign. Then it is also the magic is might statue, and then Tom Riddle Senior's gravestone. All these you're going to have to go and encounter with, save up your rune stones, or definitely use your coins to buy them. I think that's going to be a really important part of using your coins, and just battling in your fortresses. I've just been battling on level 1, get through them quite quickly, and with that you're probably looking at about a 50% chance of a fragment dropping for each of those types, so not too uncommon. You're going to need a fair few fragment runestones though to be able to start to get those fragments. When we move to Hogwarts School, has a similar pattern in that there are 3 items. First being found on the moderate severity page in terms of moderate difficulty page of this is Hogwarts School, isn't it? So we have the Hogwarts House Cup, is you have to get that from wizarding challenges, and I believe it is the House Hourglasses, and it is the Owl Lectern that you can get from wizarding challenges in Hogwarts School. Now Legends of Hogwarts, again, completable through wild encounters. Potions Classroom, you can only acquire I think this is advanced potion making through encounter in the fortresses. And in terms of the chest chamber, you're going to be looking at getting the Wizard Chest Queen, and I believe it is the Flying Key as well. So for the Legends of Hogwarts, on the 1st page, you can get all those in the wild. Potions Classroom, you can get the Advanced Potion, Half-Blood Prince's Advanced Potion Making Book, and Flying Key, and Wizard Chest Queen from battling in fortresses and getting those fragments. In Ministry of Magic, again, same for the 1st page, all can be found in the wild. Ministry Atrium, you can get the Fountain of Magical Brethren, and then on the 3rd page, you're looking at getting the entrance to the Ministry of Magic and the chair. What is this chair called? I believe it is called... Now, I haven't yet gone out and done the research on Ministry Magic, so I've used Wizards Unite Hub and Jibs Entertainment, the combination of those two, to figure out what is available. And apparently this works differently in that the Fountain of Magical Brethren you can acquire from encounters with, which would explain why I have so many, from your wizarding challenges. But in this case there aren't 2 on the final page. These are meant to be found in the wild, and that makes sense because they have the threat level there as emergency, whereas Fountain of Magical Brethren doesn't have it, which is the indicator of it can be found in wizarding challenges. Magizoology goes back to that previous format. So Central Park, you can acquire Murtlaps through using your blue rune stones, and you can acquire Okami and Thunderbird fragments as well. When we go into Magical Games of Sports, the one that you can encounter on the 2nd page from wizarding challenges is the Quidditch pitch stands. And then as we go into the final page, it goes back to that same format of these are only available through encounters. Now, I haven't actually even seen a single encounter of anybody taking down the Triwizard Cup, and I believe that's Quidditch Through the Ages. So if you have encountered that, let me know, and definitely send a screenshot if you have, because I'm yet to see a picture of it. Then we go to Mysterious Artifacts, 1st page, the usual format. Then we go to Dumbledore's office, has Sword of Gryffindor is the fragment that you can get from runestones there. But going on to Room of Requirement, again, it doesn't follow that suit of having 2 on the final page. We see an emergency on Hagrid's motorbike. So they're not, and again, I haven't seen those in a while before, but again, let me know if you have. And then we come to Wonders of the Wizarding World, which is makes the least sense. So this has none of these items in the second page, first page, third page give you any fragments from the wild, from the wizarding challenges, which it just makes those pages a lot harder to deal with. And it may even be that, you know, these threats haven't been activated in the game. I find it very strange that I haven't seen anybody else produce pictures of some of these ones. And yes, they are emergency threat level, but I've seen other emergency threat levels. We've been playing it for a long time now. So let me know if any of those ones that you currently see in white that I've discussed that technically following the first format should be in from Wizarding Challenges aren't, let me know. Because it does kind of beg the question, well, what's the point in doing Wizarding Challenges with Wonders of the Wizarding World runestones? What's the point in even getting them? And I think that might be an error on their part, and they might get switched into fragments, we find, but we'll see. And the only one that we didn't touch on was Care of Magical Creatures, where you can acquire Hagrid's Hut and the Wild Abraxan. So this technically would be the second page, or maybe even the third page, but it gets flipped around for this one. And Puffskein you can also get from there. So Fire Ends is going to be by far the hardest to complete on that page, but we should be able to work towards those fragments fairly easy. And I've seen 3 book beats so far, so you really want to visit nests to be able to find them. And that is how you can acquire all of those. Now, when we talk about in terms of rarity within rarities, that you usually have a bunch of commons, so these are your low threat types, but they tend to have one rarer low type. So in this case, it will be, so medium won't show up as a yellow beam or anything. It will look just like all these other spawns will do. So the medium encounter on this is the pumpkin patch monster book of monsters. So make sure you take advantage of those encounters, and if you really need them to prestige up a page like I do, you might want to use a potion on it. I mean, I usually just use a mild potion. For the Borgian and Burks, it's the Vanishing Cabinet is the medium in that. At Hogwarts School, it's the Boggart Cabinet. For Legends of Hogwarts, I believe it is Luna Lovegood, is the medium on there. Ministry of Magic is Flock of Interdepartmental Memos. For Magizoology, it's the Niffler, which you need 4 more of. Magical Games and Sports is the the Quidditch World Cup. Mysterious Artifacts, I think it's Decoy Detonators. Yes, that's the medium on there. And Wonders of the Wizarding World, it is Dirigible Plums. No, it's not. That's the low. It is Faux Glass. That's high. No. So that is a yellow beam. Mandrake Baby. Giant's Helm is the medium, but you only need 4. That's just for the first page. Yeah, so on this one it's Giant Helm. So again, kind of switches up suit there of how it usually works. All those are low, aren't they? Yeah, so just to give you an idea of some things that you might want to just make sure that you don't brush aside if you encounter one, and even if you're like busy, they're worth the kind of taking the time to stop and, you know, give that extra bit of focus on some of your casts. Where are the other ones? Not so important. Oddities will have been in a video that I put out yesterday, and that's the Centaur Bow fragments, and the Horned Serpent eggs are what you can acquire from Wizarding Challenges. The rest are all encounterable, is that a word? In the wild. So you can all find these in the wild, but the different spawns of nighttime for Doxy, nighttime for Centaur, nighttime for Vampire. Werewolves only 2 days before and 2 days after a full moon, which I believe is next Wednesday. Oddities, Doxies will be found at dawn. Leprechauns at dawn and dusk. Horned Serpents at dawn, dusk and night. And Urklings during the day. And that will hopefully help you complete your registry. I think that's everything that you kind of really want to focus on. I do recommend before you use any runestones of Wonders of the Wizarding World, of Mysterious Artifacts, of Magical Games and Sports, save them, and of Ministry of Magic. I recommend saving them. I don't recommend using them just yet, because I feel like it doesn't make sense that they're not very balanced, that all the different parts of the registry aren't balanced in the way that you could easily see me completing Dark Arts way quicker because I can get all these, but Magical Games and Sports having 4 emergencies on. We've got emergency, severe, compared to we've got severe, emergency, 2 fragments that you can easily acquire from your Wizarding Challenges, and then 1 that is only high. Very different and a lot more difficult to complete when you're talking about Magical Games and Sports, Wonders of the Wizarding World, and Mysterious Artifacts. So let me know. I may be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that these white ones are not in the game yet, and they just haven't changed it so that they would become available for Wizarding Challenges. Maybe wrong, but if I am, do send me a snapshot, send me it via my Twitter, email, let me know. But apart from that, hopefully this guide has been helpful for you, and hopefully it will just help you to complete your registry in a nice, efficient way, like I'm doing, starting to battle a lot more fortresses than battling in the wild at the moment. Okay, well that's all for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have, please hit the like button and then subscribe if you want to keep up to date with future content and information. That's all for me. See you guys soon.